All right, welcome back in to the newly rebranded Above the Mat podcast. He is TC, I'm TH, and TC, we can't really see you. You're sitting in the dark now.
Oh man, oh man. Of course that doesn't.
There we go. There's your beautiful face.
There it is, baby. There it is.
Oh, God. What are we? Today's March 15th. How many days away from WrestleMania are we?
We have 3 weeks.
Yeah, so I guess 22 days away from night number one.
Mm-hmm.
We finally are getting somewhere with this whole story between Cody, The Rock, Roman Reigns, and Seth Rollins as well. We know we have this tag team match on night one of WrestleMania, which I'm assuming is going to be the main event. So I guess technically Roman and Cody will main event both nights of WrestleMania. That obviously has never happened before. And I like following along with this. I'm pretty sure The Rock is going to turn on Roman Reigns, but also I'm not sure at the same time, if that makes sense.
See, I don't think it's gonna be Roman. I don't think the Rock's turn on Roman. I think that Seth's gonna turn on Cody.
Okay, why do you say that?
Well, 3 things. One, if you look where the match Seth has been lately,
Okay,
like Rollins still has never beaten Cody, right?
right.
So I think that Cody and Seth are gonna win the match. But I think that that Seth is going to turn on Cody just for one, pride, two, because he's going to realign with Roman.
So what would be the point of turning on him after the match, though?
I have no idea. The way the booking's looking, the way that they've kind of turned a lot of the ideas of it, it's been just kind of a booking cluster. Because you have The Rock doing the L
Yeah.
to Roman, and then you have Seth looking at Cody like an enemy in certain aspects of his promos.
Right.
So there's not this division of it. I don't know if that maybe. I don't know. It's a weird. I can't tell you where I think it's going to go from this because it's just not been consistent. Like you had Cody bringing The Rock. The Rock turned on Cody. Well, Cody turned on The Rock, and then The Rock realigned with the Bloodline. Like
and like I know Cody's alluded to it, but I still don't like fully get what the initial plan for bringing The Rock in was, because he's like, okay, well, yeah, I did give up my spot, but then he started talking about this being about like bloodline unity and all that kind of stuff, and that's where I lost it. And I was like, that doesn't make total sense to me.
well, I think what happened was after when Cody said this is bullshit.
Yeah.
And then once he talked about the High Chief Peter Maivia, that's where it kind of became he realigned the bloodline because he was like, oh wait, it's kind of like someone talk about your dad or something, right? And if your cousin's right beside you, like, hey, that's my uncle, like it's just family first. But I just don't understand the real concept of the bloodline at this point. Like, I mean, give Jimmy facing Jay, which is bloodline, then you have Solo's not doing anything. Like they dropped the ball on Solo like crazy. Solo last year, I think my Solo, the first person he lost to was Cody Rhodes ever on the main roster.
Right.
Ever since then, he's lost. Well, he had that one match against Cena when he won.
Right.
But he looks like just a lackey now.
Well, and I mean, it's a pretty much like paint by the numbers kind of thing. Anytime either it's a Roman match or something involving somebody with the bloodline, like Jimmy or something. Match is going on. It looks like Roman or Jimmy's going to lose against Cody or whoever. And then Solo pops up in that damn hoodie every single time. Like, bro, we know it's you. You don't have to have your hoodie on. We are very aware of who you are. And then he spikes them. They win the match or whatever it may be. Like, it just feels like, and I don't really know, because let's say the bloodline loses, right? Let's say Cody and Seth win on night one, and then Cody wins on night two. And obviously, when that happens, we're not going to see Roman Reigns for a while. Like, he's going to be
100%
gone for maybe till like SummerSlam or whatever. Like, what do you do with Solo at that point? Like, I feel like they should have pulled the trigger on him doing something at some point beforehand, because now he's just so repetitive. Like, he's not the character has not evolved in like a year.
Isn't the draft after WrestleMania?
Who knows?
Well, if the draft after WrestleMania, what I would honestly do is I would have Solo go to Raw.
Okay.
and then have do a chase for the IC title.
But like in a way, I feel like Solo can't really exist without the Bloodline right now because he's not like at least like Jay, right? Jay had like this fleshed out storyline where we had this character like evolve, and now he's main event Jey Uso and like can stand alone on his own. If you take Solo out of the Bloodline without having like some major moment where he turns on Roman or Roman kicks him out or something like that, I don't feel like you have very much of a character. You know what I mean?
Hear me out here, right? Now, once Roman loses Cody, because it's going to happen. It's a guarantee.
At this point, yes.
Well, let me phrase it. I thought last was a guarantee too, and now I was.
So when Rock said on whatever SmackDown a week or two ago that if you lose, you're never going to contend for a title again, it's like,
well, they did AEW.
Well, that's the thing is like that's essentially what they're alluding to. And obviously Cody did lose in AEW, which I don't think anybody saw coming because like, oh, surely Cody's not going to lose and never be able to challenge for the championship. But like, I feel like them putting that out there almost 100% guarantees he's going to win it because he's literally your top star right now. And you're never going to be able to go through however many more years he's going to be wrestling saying, oh, well, because he lost that one match, he's never able to compete for the title again.
Yeah, I mean, it is kind of a cop out when they do that. I wish they would have just left that alone out of the story.
Yeah.
But I mean, at the same time, if Cody doesn't win this match, it doesn't matter what title he wins after it. It doesn't matter. Like he can go on a John Cena run. You know, think about if Cena never beat JBL at WrestleMania. Think about that.
Yeah.
Or if Brock Lesnar never beat Kurt Angle at WrestleMania.
Yeah.
Or if The Rock never beat Stone Cold at WrestleMania.
And I do want to add this in there because I think if we go back to a year ago when Roman beat Cody and we were all shocked by it, like, oh my God, surely we thought Cody was going to win at 39. Mm-hmm. At the time, it didn't make a lot of sense, but I think it has created more intrigue this time around because while we're sitting here pretty sure Cody's going to win, there's that little bit of doubt in the back of your mind. You're like, well, they didn't pull a trigger a year ago. What if? Because again, Roman Reigns' title reign is historic at this point, and it just continues to be so the longer he holds on to it. So there's at least that little bit of doubt in the back of your mind, like, well, maybe they won't let Cody finish the story, which I think makes this match all the more intriguing.
I don't see what is there left to do with the Bloodline besides honestly give Solo the IC title, the US title. Or put Solo with Jay and make it. There's no more story for the Bloodline.
There's not.
Less deception. That's it.
And here's the thing: when you have a champion that is as dominant and long reigning as Roman Reigns, there's only a very select few amount of people that could take the title from him. And Cody obviously makes a lot of sense. The really only other person that would make sense is Jay, which I don't. They're not going to do that. They've been down that road.
Or Seth.
Yeah, but that's.
I agree with Jay is probably the better option if it comes to the Bloodline story frame. But the best, honestly, is Seth.
Yeah, but at the same time, I feel like because let's think about it like this. Think back to WrestleMania 21. Triple H was on his whatever number world title reign at that point in time. Mm-hmm. And Batista rises up and beats his former boss, whatever, for his first ever world championship. Something about a first-time champion dethroning a multi-time champion, I feel like goes a long way. Seth has won every title so far. Multiple world
He's not won the undisputed title.
Well, he's still won world championships. You know what I mean?
Just saying, man.
Cody has legitimately in WWE never won a world championship.
Same as Jay.
So I feel like if it was Seth, it just wouldn't mean the same thing.
Do you know what I don't understand, honestly, though, when it comes – I'm going to roll back here to Jay a little bit here.
Okay.
Why would they not have Jay dethrone – I understand not doing it on a Monday Night Raw, but the Gunther match. Wouldn't you rather see – brother versus brother for the IC title?
Well,
and then because You know, because Jay's never held a singles title. Jay's never had a singles title.
Right.
Like,
well, and I initially thought they were setting it up for Jay to face Gunther at WrestleMania, where it would have made a lot of sense. Hey, Jay beats him, you know, shows, hey, I can do this on my own without the bloodline and all that kind of stuff would have been a compelling story. And when they didn't do that, I'm like, okay, because that seems, and you know, we'll get to the gauntlet match in a second. It to me, for as great as Gunther's reign has been as IC champion, I kind of wanted something more than just, hey, here's a bunch of guys that we think are the best. Let's throw them all in a match together and the winner gets to face them. You know what I mean? Like I wanted more of like a story to it, if that makes sense.
yeah.
Which we maybe get more of that. We don't know. But where we stand right now, we're not. And I think Jay facing him and beating him at WrestleMania would have gone a long way. And then, you know, I don't know, you have him and Jimmy face each other at SummerSlam or something like that. And, you know, because here's the thing, Gunther has established himself as a dominant wrestler today, where even when he loses the title, that he's still going to be seen as one of the top dogs in the business. And, you know, very likely maybe one of the challengers for Cody's title, you know, in the coming months or something along those lines. But yeah, I feel like Jimmy and Jay, really, this is a match that should have already happened. But if it's like they knew WrestleMania would be the best place for it, so they had to stretch it out this far to make it work. But like these guys have gone back and forth so many times, it almost feels kind of tired at this point.
Bro, it's literally the Hardy battle at WrestleMania 25.
It is, which by the way, that's an underrated match.
It's a great match. I'm not saying it's not a good match. I'm just saying there was no real story with it. I mean,
well, I mean, Matt turned on Jeff at the Royal Rumble that year, so there's substance to it. And should they have, you know, brought in Jeff's house catching on fire and his dog dying in real life? Probably not. But like there was something there, and it wasn't something that like, because again, Matt turns on him at the Royal Rumble, and then they're wrestling each other at WrestleMania a couple months later. Like Jimmy and Jay have gone so back and forth in like the past 2 years. It feels like this match should have happened like 8 months ago.
Do you know what I don't understand about the whole Jimmy and Jay? What ruined that storyline for me was when Jay was main event Jay Uso with Roman Reigns, and they kicked Jimmy out, right?
Yeah.
Jay goes, "If you're out, I'm out too." Exactly. And literally the following pay-per-view, he turns on him.
Yeah, that's the thing is like, God, how long has the Bloodline thing been going on? Like 3 years now?
3 years.
Yeah, it's like they ran out of ideas. You know what I mean? And so they just started like circling back because that didn't make any sense to me.
None at all. Like, why would Jimmy? And plus, why would Jay? Go out of it.
Which, by the way, and look, I love what Jey Uso is doing as main event Jey Uso. That's working. Jimmy is a complete afterthought. He's just the guy that stands in the background behind Roman Reigns. Like, what has he done of substance in the year 2024?
He's a comedy act. What is the comedy act? Like,
exactly. Like he's just there. Like I feasibly don't believe going into this match at WrestleMania, unless Solo shows up and spikes Jay, like there's no reason for Jimmy to win that match.
But what would honestly be the best like aspect for Jimmy would be make a tag team with Solo. Like become undisputed tag team champions and like that's what I would have done, honestly, to push the storyline a little better. Like I mean, because Jimmy's just not. I mean, he's a great talent, but
the characters, I mean, it's dead. There's nothing there.
Yeah, there's no clash, and there's no, and like it's just brother jealousy, like the most basic thing. Like it's not like, at least with the Matt Hardy Jeff Hardy thing is because Jeff Hardy's won the world title. You know, all Jeff's done is won the ECW title. Jeff's won the WWE championship. He's won Intercontinental. He's won the United States. He won not back then, but. And all Matt really did was just win the U.S. title, the Cruiserweight title, and the ECW World title.
Right.
That's it.
Yeah.
So it was main event styles plays in that whole situation, but it's just I don't know. I don't look forward to watching that match. I really, because they're going to do the exact same moves.
Sure.
They had the exact same moves. They had the exact same except one's yeet, one's no yeet.
Yeah.
Like it's going to be probably the second thing on night 2.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think it's going to be a good match, but from like a story standpoint, I can't feasibly believe Jimmy's going to win because there's no point in him winning
There's no
because
point.
he's just a lackey at this point.
And if like only way that I can see them having Jimmy win is honestly just Solo, like
Yeah,
have Solo spike Jimmy and
yeah,
then
but but but
spike Jay.
but that's the thing is like if he wins the match that way, that does nothing for him
Yeah,
because it's once again just like, oh, well, you're benefiting from Solo just being the muscle of the bloodline. And I
yeah.
don't think that does anything for Solo because again, you're just doing the same thing over and over again with that guy.
What I honestly would have done, and then we start a new little segment here. It's called Us Booking, right?
Okay.
What we're gonna start doing is like taking one pay per view from like either upcoming or 15 years ago, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna restructure it and book it ourselves. Now, this is
Okay.
how I would book the Jimmy and Jay Uso match. Okay.
Okay. All right.
I would make a triple threat match. I would make
Okay.
it who's the best brother out of Jimmy, Jay, and Solo.
Mm-hmm.
I would have it where Solo's getting tired of Jimmy. He's getting tired of having to constantly fight Jimmy's battles, having to be embarrassed by him because The Rock embarrassed him the other night when he was talking to Solo.
Mm-hmm.
He's tired of being embarrassed. He's tired of being the little brother.
Mm-hmm.
And now main event Jey Uso, Jay went on his own. So Solo, maybe he should go on his own.
Yeah.
I would have it a triple threat match, and I would have Jimmy taking the pin either between Solo or Jay because he's the oldest.
Yeah.
And I would have Rikishi as the special referee.
You know, I keep waiting for
enforcer.
them to bring. I keep waiting for them to bring Rikishi in at some point. It makes too much sense.
It would make so much sense. Like, or have the Samoan, what was it, Samoan SWAT team? Have you seen that shit on the Indies?
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
I was like, this is what the Bloodline should be if they could actually, be Samoans. Like it's crazy. Like,
Sure.
it's such good.
No, I like the idea of a triple threat, and if they were going to do that, I would say Solo needs to win that because,
well,
you know,
I don't know. It should be a toss up between Solo or Jimmy or Jay.
like Jay's fine. Like Jay again has already established himself. Like I don't think that win skyrockets him anymore or losing, brings him down. But like Solo needs something because again, if the bloodline implodes at WrestleMania, I don't know what you do with Solo because again, Roman's going to be gone for like 3 months.
I mean, John Cena said this about Solo. He was just a bootleg Taz. I mean,
yeah, he really is because, and he doesn't talk. So there's no like character development. He does the same thing every show. Again, just showing up and spiking people to help Roman or Jimmy win matches. Like there's no depth to the character.
Okay, hear me out here. Ready?
All right.
Solo goes on his own, right? And you put either Rikishi with him,
okay,
or because if Roman loses, he's gonna be gone for a while.
Yeah.
Put Heyman with Solo.
And
no more Jimmy, no more Jay.
Put Heyman with him and have him just be like this unbeatable monster.
Making Brock.
In his own way.
Well, I'm just saying, like, maybe make a mix between Brock and Taz.
Yeah, I'd say Brock, Taz, and Umaga, but yeah.
Yeah, but Umaga was just a beast. Or get the guy who was the manager for Umaga.
Armando Estrada.
Like, get him with him.
I mean, that wouldn't be terrible.
I mean, cool down the stereotype of it. But
he definitely needs a mouthpiece.
Yeah.
Which again, being in the bloodline, I mean, Paul Heyman's there, so he kind of speaks for him to a degree anyway. But like, yeah, he definitely needs a manager of some sort, and he needs to just be this unstoppable monster.
He needs to destroy Jimmy.
Yeah.
Like as soon as they go out there, Jimmy's out there trying to make a point. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, well, if we're gonna book this, right, I wouldn't do Jay versus Jimmy. I would do Jimmy and Solo one-on-one, where Roman's saying, "Hey, like Jimmy's not carrying his weight here, and he's costing us matches or whatever it may be." Like we need to take care of him. And that's giving Solo an assignment to rid Jimmy of the bloodline, from the bloodline or whatever it is. And
now, is this pre-WrestleMania or after WrestleMania?
This is at WrestleMania.
Oh, at WrestleMania. Okay.
So, and again, you would have to kind of backtrack this a little bit, but it would be like Jimmy continuing to mess up and put them in bad situations to where Roman's like, I need you to rid Jimmy from the bloodline, and then go to WrestleMania and just let Solo wreck him. You know what I mean? Just completely run through him, dominate him for 8 to 10 minutes.
Squash?
What's that?
Like when Taker squash Cena?
Yeah, something along those lines. And just kind of, because that's obviously his brother, but just like a very merciless beating. You know what I mean? And I feel like that would add something to the character. And then again, when inevitably Roman loses and Solo can kind of do his own thing for a while, I feel like that would make sense as opposed to Solo once again standing in the corner at WrestleMania. And again, Jimmy and Jay facing each other, which again, I don't think that really does much for either side. I don't know. I'm trying to think ahead because Solo is a good talent, and he's young, so he's going to be around for a while. But it's like I feel like they've kind of painted him into a corner.
I think if I could have done it, what I would have done honestly is had I would have moved. I had like some kind of storyline where the bloodline was going against Imperium, and have it where Solo was facing Gunther, because Gunther is he's proven everything. He's the longest reigning Intercontinental champion in the world. Yeah, there's nothing left for him to do, and then have it where the bloodline, in case there was some shenanigans or whatever, in the Imperium,
right, and
actually have like a small TikTok, a small little feud. Just have the secondary feud,
right.
Don't have Roman involved. Don't have any of that shit involved.
But, right. I'm glad you brought up Gunther, because that's another thing that I want to talk about is the setup for the Intercontinental Championship match at WrestleMania, where again, for what Gunther has done for that title, I would have liked a little more of a story to it, as opposed to just saying, all right, here's 6 guys that, half of them are former champions, half of them are knocking on the door. Let's put them in a gauntlet match and see what happens.
Well, there is a storyline with it. Every person in that gauntlet match has lost to Gunther.
Right.
And everyone in that title match has been an Intercontinental champion except Chad Gable. And Chad Gable was the second person to get close to beating Gunther.
Right.
And he beat him on a count-out victory.
Now, on Monday night, Sami Zayn wins the gauntlet match, beating Chad Gable at the very end. I think we're going to have a loophole because it didn't look like both of Gable's shoulders were down. So I think we may have a classic case of, hey, he didn't beat me, and we turned into a triple threat. We don't know that for sure. If that is not the case and we just get Gunther versus Sami, then I feel like that's a wasted opportunity.
I mean, I agree.
Sami has obviously already held the title. Sami, again, is still one of the fan favorites as of right now, but that's not the kind of person that should unseat Gunther.
Yeah, I agree. But the thing is, they have to make Gunther look strong, too. You can't just have Gunther lose clean to Chad Gable. You can't have Chad Gable, the guy who's literally the comedy team. That's like R-Truth beating Roman Reigns.
Yeah, but here's the thing. The Alpha Academy stuff has kind of died off. Like like Maxine's off doing her thing, getting booed and learning how to wrestle again. Otis really hasn't been around in a little while. Like Gable has gotten more serious as of late. You know what I mean? And I feel like, okay, stay with me here. This is the booking situation here. Let's say this turns into a triple threat, which we think it will, but let's say that happens. And Gable goes into WrestleMania, still representing the Alpha Academy or whatever, because that's his intro, wins the title, and then that's kind of where the Alpha Academy stuff ends, and he goes off on his own. Do you remember in 2011 when CM Punk beat John Cena at Money in the Bank?
Yep.
CM Punk was technically still representing the new Nexus at that point in time. Yeah. But as soon as he came back 2 weeks later, there was never a mention of new Nexus again. Like that ended it, and then he was off on the Summer of Punk on his own or whatever. And I feel like you can do the same thing with Chad Gable. Like Otis can go off and do his own thing. You can reference that the Alpha Academy existed, but him winning the title truly allows him to go off on his own and do his own thing. You know what I mean?
I agree to a standpoint, but What was that tag team he was part of? It was him and
American Alpha in NXT.
American Alpha. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, if that Chad Gable, I mean, Chad Gable was basically like Kurt Angle. That's the only person I can really compare him to is Kurt.
Well, and
like,
if we're being honest, he should have been Kurt's illegitimate son, not Jason
100%,
Jordan.
100%. But I mean, he has all the great potential of being a good Intercontinental champion. He has good potential of being a world champion.
Right.
Like, I just don't see how you can have 4.5 years of bad booking. Thank you. Shush. Well, like it's elementary. That's like R-Truth win the world title.
Here's the thing, though. I feel like it creates an even better story overcoming that. Because here's the thing. A couple years ago, he was Shorty G. And he was the butt of every single joke and made to look like an absolute idiot. And Alpha Academy, while yes, has its goofy elements, allowed him to lean back more into the wrestling side of things a little bit. And I feel like Triple H, now that he's taken over full control, has slowly kind of built him back in to what he once was, where he's seen as more legitimate, more of a legitimate threat. And that match with Gunther, where he nearly won and Gunther made his kids cry, I think was a big point in returning to that legitimacy.
Like I said, I think that Chad Gable would be an amazing Intercontinental champion. I think that if he won at WrestleMania, it'd be great. But I do think Sami Zayn, if they gave him a little bit more storytelling with it, give him let him really die into it.
Mm-hmm.
But you're not going to beat that IC triple threat match last year with Sheamus and Drew.
Yeah,
that was one of the most that was a PWG match.
That was big men slapping meat.
It was beating the hell out of each other. Like, I don't know. I don't know why they would go to another triple threat match unless Gunther was to lose the title and look strong.
Or perhaps if we have this controversy of Gable going to Adam Pearce on Monday and say, "Hey, look at this video. My shoulders weren't down." You have a rematch with him and Sami to really determine who the number one contender is, and Gable just wins that one clean.
Didn't Sami go in before Gable did?
What do you mean?
Did he pin more people in the gauntlet match, or was Gable the last person to go out?
Gable was the last person in because Sami, I think, came in third because he beat Bronson Reed. I can't remember what order they went, but Sami pinned a couple guys because remember, Gable comes in and lets him get to his feet before they start wrestling because Sami was just gassed.
So you can't just have that. Then it's kind of like, okay, well, who'd you beat in that gauntlet match? You may not get pinned, but I beat 3 guys. You can't even beat me.
Yeah, I don't know, but at the same time, it was a quick roll up though. So it's not
a win's a win, baby.
but here's the thing: the quick roll ups, the little small packages, those things are seen as like last ditch efforts to win. Like it's not like if he hit him with a haluva kick and pinned him, that's one thing. But just rolling him up and getting him in a quick 3, like that's different. I feel like you can rebound out of that a little bit easier.
He beat 3 other guys to face Gable, and Gable couldn't pin him.
Yeah, I mean, I get it. I
mean, now I agree with you on this point when we let him stand up, right?
Mm-hmm.
But give Gable the mean streak back in. Don't make him a heel. But when he went in there to wrestle the second time, when we went in for the gauntlet match, when he got up, he should have fucking took him suplex.
And I thought at the end of the match, Gable might snap and turn on him. You know what I mean?
But it's not turning on him. It's not. He's not being a heel. It's just he's worked so hard right. over and over, years and years and years and years and years, and he finally gets to where I'm the last guy in it. I can go out there and then his pride gets him.
Yeah.
Well, at a certain point, you gotta let that pride go away and have that aggression, like he did when he's a tag team with what's his name? Anyways, back then when he was part of that tag team, He was a monster.
Yeah.
Jumping suplexes, like crossbodies flying across, just wailing on each other,
Right.
German to German to German. Like he was a little Brock. Like
Yeah.
I mean, and he has to find that aggression again. If you're gonna beat Gunther, you can't go easy on it. You can't ease into the match. It's gonna be a hard hit match from start to finish.
But again, he went toe to toe with him when they wrestled on Raw.
I agree, but he was also not doing that comedy stuff either.
I don't know. I'm interested to see what happens Monday because I feel like for what they've almost kind of built organically with Chad Gable, he can't not be at WrestleMania. You know what I mean? Like he has to be doing something. And maybe which they have any. I guess they're still going to do the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal, which is usually ends up on the pre-show though.
It's on SmackDown now.
Oh, that's right. They do put it on SmackDown, which is stupid. I do feel like this 6-way ladder match for the tag team titles.
It's gonna be good, man.
Oh, and
it's gonna be good.
That's gonna steal the freaking show. I'm so excited.
I think that DIY is gonna win.
Maybe, but here's the thing. Let's say that Gable isn't included in the Intercontinental Championship thing or whatever. Why couldn't he win it? You know what I mean?
I think it'd be kind of he's already been tag team champions, you know?
Yeah.
Gable Gable has to be on his own this time. He's already been tag team champion NXT, tag team champions on Raw, tag champions on SmackDown, unified tag team champions.
Yeah.
He has to do this for him.
Yeah. But I don't know where he could slide onto WrestleMania by himself though if he's not in the IC title.
Can I ask you a question? You ever thought about this?
Yeah.
What if they made a secondary Money in the Bank?
A secondary Money in the Bank? What do you mean?
Like for the U.S. title and the Intercontinental title? I'm just saying, like or some kind of concept like that. Like you any guaranteed time ever for a U.S. or Intercontinental title, then you'd have guys that are middle range guys that haven't really got opportunity before to go for it. And then we wouldn't have what happened with Austin Theory.
Yeah, I don't know, because I feel like that waters the concept a little bit, if that makes sense.
But I don't know. I just think that it just should be some kind of or have like a battle royal or something like just for a mid card title.
Well, you know what? That does present an interesting opportunity where let's say that Gable doesn't get included in the IC title thing, and you make the Andre Memorial Battle Royal saying, hey, you win this, you have the opportunity to challenge for the U.S. Intercontinental Championship, over a set period of time, or you at the next pay-per-view or whatever it may be, you can challenge for one of those titles. I feel like that could work.
Then you should do that for Friday night then, and have it where whoever wins can either be going against Jake Paul and Randy, or Gunther and Sammy.
Yeah, but like those matches are already set, and like inserting somebody at the last second would feel very forced.
But if Gable wins, that covers the whole story, because then they can't say that Gable didn't beat anybody to get in the match.
That is interesting, because if he does win and can insert himself into the Intercontinental Championship match, then it still ties in. So that could work. I see where you're going with that.
Or have Austin Theory going against Randy and Paul. You have a story right there. Then instead of having Paul lose at WrestleMania, because he's going to lose against Randy.
Yeah.
I highly doubt they're going to have Randy Orton lose at WrestleMania, his first WrestleMania back.
But hey, look, you want to talk about a viral moment? If Logan Paul beats Randy Orton at WrestleMania, think of the videos and the retweets and all that stuff.
If he beats Randy though,
with a big Prime sticker in the middle of the freaking ring,
hits him with an RKO.
I mean, which by the way, the Prime sticker, I don't like this.
Oh, UFC has it.
Yeah, but like, here's the thing. Vince McMahon was screwed up in a lot of ways, but he kept the mat clean. And something about like a gigantic
Saudi?
Prime, what's that?
Saudi kept the mat clean.
Who?
So
No, I'm talking about like from advertising. Like, yes, they've put like advertising on the ring apron and advertising on the barricades, but like never in the middle of the mat. You know what I mean? There's something about the fact that Cody could be finishing his story at WrestleMania, pinning Roman on a giant bottle of Prime. That bothers me a little bit.
they'll probably take it off the main event.
But I doubt that they would, because it's literally, they've said it is the mat sponsor starting at WrestleMania. Like, it's gonna be on the mat somewhere, and it sounds like it's gonna be a big one in the middle of the ring. Like, if they put it on like the turnbuckles or something like that, it
The
wouldn't
bottom
bother me as
turnbuckle.
much, or like
Yeah.
on the actual ring post. But like having that giant ass sticker in the middle of the mat does bother me.
Or the mat. They put it on the outside the ring mat.
Well, that doesn't bother me either. But like, it sounds like, from all indications, it's going to be in the middle of the ring.
I don't think he's going to.
From what it
Probably
sounds
just
like
for
going to.
Look at the Mountain Dew when they had that sponsorship, or the.
Unless, okay, all right, bear with me here, real quick. Randy beats Logan Paul for the U.S. title, and then tears the sticker off the mat.
You know, it'd be better.
What?
Even better than that. Every single Logan Paul pay-per-view, he has a sticker because it's a sponsorship of Logan Paul. So only his matches has a sticker because it's his brand. That would make that'd be a perfect storytelling point.
That would also make people hate him even more. So yes,
exactly.
I agree.
I mean, and have like Austin Theory and what's his name, the Australian guy,
Grayson Waller
be out there first, then put the sticker down, extra heat.
Yeah,
to make them a faction.
I don't hate that.
I was off the cuff, baby. I didn't even write that in my journal. I was off the cuff.
That's pretty good. I'm just afraid we're going to get a giant Prime sticker through all of WrestleMania for like we're going to have these moments of like Cody in tears after winning the title that we're going to look back on, and there's this big ass bottle of Prime
you ever
like
had Prime?
Underneath him. Huh?
You've tried it?
I've never tried Prime.
It's pretty good. I'm not gonna.
I like energy drinks. Man. I'll try it, but I just haven't gotten to it.
It's like a Powerade or a Gatorade with less sugar.
Yeah, I'll try it. I like energy drinks, but I just haven't gotten to it.
It's like Gatorade.
Yeah. Well, again, the next time I'm at the store, I'll give it a try.
It's not bad. If you get it, get either the purple one. I think it's grape, or get the Rocket Pop one.
Okay. Yeah.
It's not bad, man. I'm gonna be honest with you. I tried my cousin. He has them. Mm-hmm. I took one of my. This is stupid. And I tried it, and I was like, bad.
I'll give it a shot. But anyway, kind of been all over the place here. Just closing thoughts on today's man. What's that?
It's our first show back.
It is. Closing thoughts before we wrap up here.
I can't tell how Mania is going to be.
Okay.
And it's surprising to me. I can pretty much figure out every year who's going to win, who's going to lose, except last year because, that shit came out of nowhere.
Sure.
But I'm really excited about the Rhea match.
Yeah.
I'm excited about the ladder match.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think can be night one? Do you think that that Gunther match will be night one, or do you think it'll be night two?
Considering the fact that both of the world title matches are on night two, I imagine the IC match will be on night one.
Since you brought up the world title match, you think that it's going to be Rollins, or you think it's going to be Drew?
Oh, it's got to be Drew. Drew is absolutely on fire right now, and like Rollins has held the title for almost close to a year. I feel like it kind of similar to Roman. Like, I really don't know where else he can go with it. He's done a really good job of making a reintroduced title important, which was his job. Like, they put it on him for a reason, because, hey, here's a guy that's been at the top of WWE for a while. He's going to make this thing feel important, which he's done a good job of that. But I feel like Drew's just red hot. You got to give it to him. And plus, he didn't have his WrestleMania moment because of COVID. There were no fans there. Like, this is his proper moment.
I just have. We'll end after this. I just one more question for you.
Okay.
How do you think they're going to do the Money in the Bank then?
Oh, with Damian Priest.
Like we talked about, I think it's our first episode. We talked about this scenario where that if Rollins wasn't 100%, which he's 100% now, so thank God for that. But if he wasn't 100%, would you have it where Rollins comes out there, does the 15 minutes, and then you have a callback to the heist of the century?
That is possible. And see, here's the thing: Drew is a very good heel, right? Mm-hmm. Drew is very good at being pissed off and just running through people. So let's say that Drew goes out there and works over Seth or something like that. And then Damian Priest comes in and steals the title by cashing in like that. I think that could elevate Drew to even another level, because he's in, like, let's say that Priest pins Rollins, so Drew comes away from it not having to eat the pin, and he's just pissed off at the entire world at that point in time. Is just tearing through everybody before eventually beating Priest somewhere down the road.
But I think how they're going to book it is they're going to have at SummerSlam when Punk's back, it's going to be Punk and Drew.
Probably, I would say, and it's again with the injuries and stuff, things have changed so much. I don't know what their original plans would have been that far out, but I could see that happening.
Well,
but
there's a plan. The plans were it's going to be Punk and Seth and then Rollins, WrestleMania.
Yeah. Well, and I know that, but I'm talking about all the way out to SummerSlam. I don't buy Damian Priest as a legitimate world champion at this point in time. If he does win the title and his cash in, it's going to be a short-lived thing. And you can set it up because the Bloodlines had some tension, or not the Bloodline, Judgment Day's had some tension, right? Where you can okay, he's going to hold the title for 2 months, but then Finn Balor accidentally cost him the championship or something like that. And then you could spin those guys off doing their own thing or whatever, and then allow Drew or whoever to be the champion going forward.
Yeah.
So just an idea.
Well, man, it feels good to be back. We'll get back on schedule and see what happens with this. It's going to be interesting in the next couple of weeks.
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah, The Rock's coming to SmackDown tonight, so we'll be on SmackDown.
We gotta get to the TVs and see what's going to happen.
All right, buddy. Well,
all right, that's Above the Mat. He's TC, I'm TH. We'll catch you next time.
Take it easy.